you pick all the stars out of there, and
Yeah.
you put them on eBay, and you're hoping to get a $1.50,
Yeah.
Each or something like that, or you're hoping that you can find a set collector
Yeah.
that wants to pay $50 for this box.
Encore football. You're hoping to get $50 from some guy. Hope is the key word there. You can't buy a lot of these collections on hope.
You're watching the EDI Sports Show, where every Friday we go into the stories in sports and sports cards, also the card of the week, and then at the end of the show we get to your viewer comments. This week we have a huge show for you, and I'm trying to do something which is make the segments a little bit faster, make the pace of the show a little bit better for you. What I want to know from you in the comments is, do you think that the pace of this show is too slow, or do you like the pace at all? Let's get to our top story this week, which has to do with Fanatics and their evaluation, because I don't know if you guys know, but Fanatics is looking to do what's called an IPO, or initial public offering, which means they're going to be on the stock exchange. And once that happens, they're going to have to change the way they do business, because once you become a publicly traded company, that means that you have to actually disclose what's going on. Right now, Fanatics is a privately held company, which means everything is a secret and they don't have to tell you what they're doing. But one of the problems that just happened recently is that Moody's, which is one of the largest ratings agency, and basically what they say is they look at your books, they look at your business, and they look at how much cash flow that you get, and they determine what kind of a risk you are. And unfortunately, Fanatics was just downgraded in terms of their Moody's rating, which doesn't really mean anything to you guys, either sports fans or sports card collectors, but it does mean a lot for the hobby. And what this is actually saying is that Fanatics has a lot of headwinds going forward. Now, the big issue is that Fanatics has a lot of debt on the books. In fact, Moody's, according to Moody's, they say that Fanatics has 25x debt compared to what they bring in revenue. That means that they're spending way more money than they bring in. Now, obviously, the CEO of Fanatics, Michael Rubin, has said, no, this is a cash cow, though, where we're making tons of money. But if that were true, then why are they 25x debt? So clearly something's not right in Fanatics land. So what does this mean for you guys? Well, it means that Fanatics is going to have to not spend so much in 2025. And although they have big plans, it sounds like that they actually have to kind of redo their books. Now, they're not a publicly traded company right now. And if they do an IPO, a lot of this stuff doesn't really matter all that much, because the whole point is, do investors believe in the company or not? And if they do, they're going to buy the stock. And if they buy the stock, it goes up. If they don't believe in the company, then they're not going to buy the stock. And that's when Fanatics is in real trouble, at which point they may have to sell off different assets that they own. 1 being Topps, 2 being Bowman, 3 being their license deals, 4 being their new arrangement with the NHL where they make jerseys. Like, there's a lot that Fanatics could sell off if things go south very quickly. And the question right now is, will it go south or not? So that's the question I have for you this week. Do you think Fanatics is in real trouble or not? Put it down in the comments. And let's get to the second story this week. I wanted to kind of do what's called a real reel in the sports card hobby, and that is what exactly is going on from now through the end of the year and going into 2025. Now, I've talked a lot about the sports card market and the fact that it's down 80%. A lot of you have pushed back on that. Not everybody, but some of you have pushed back on that. And so what I thought would be interesting is actually to take a clip of Chasing Cardboard and Ty admitting the truth. And what I want to make it clear is that I have done some investigation into the Chasing Cardboard controversy from a couple years ago, where they listed a Rock Auto. It was not the right kind of listing. Ty got in a little bit of trouble for it. I interviewed, if you guys never saw this interview, I interviewed Jimmy, who was the guy that actually tried to buy the Rock Auto. And then when he asked for verification, do you believe in your opinion if this is a real auto or not? That's when Ty admitted, I don't really know. I bought it in a collection and I don't know if it's real or not, which he did not disclose in the listing. You could take the Sports Card Radio approach and just say Ty's a scammer. Again, I don't like to do that. I like to look at the evidence and kind of come and draw a conclusion that's based on the evidence. What's clear is that Ty made a mistake, or what's more clear is his team, because Ty doesn't do the actual eBay listings. His team does. His team made a big mistake, not Ty. The problem that Ty made is Ty is the CEO. Ty is the leader of the company. And as a leader, you have to take ownership for what your team does. And what he should have done is just admitted, my team made a mistake. We're sorry for it. We're working on it. We're not going to make these mistakes going forward. Unfortunately, Ty doubled down and then made several videos, 1 attacking Sports Card Radio, 2 attacking the hobby, 3 attacking YouTube. I mean, he just came out guns a-blazing like, I didn't do anything wrong and you're the problem with the hobby. Yeah, that's not true, Ty. But that doesn't mean that we need to excommunicate Ty from the sports card hobby. In fact, I watched this video. So here's the thumbnail for it. I'm going to put the link down below because this is literally the best episode of Chasing Cardboard I have seen. Everybody should watch it. It is the most honest that I have seen a sports card influencer. Now, Jeff Wilson, the sports card investor, is starting to be more honest about the hobby. So here's what I think everybody should know. The hobby has turned into a gambling market. That is absolutely clear. Gambling means literally casino or a lottery ticket. A casino is where you gamble money, so you give them money for the chance of winning something, or a literal lottery ticket where you give money for a combination that might hit at some point. So the gambling is wax, which is literally gambling, or breaking, which is you pay someone X amount of dollars, let's say $20, for the chance of hitting a lottery ticket. That's it. I mean, that's the hobby right now. It's wax where you have no chance of actually getting your money back, or breaking, which is just, again, a lottery ticket. And that's the hobby at this point. And the problem is that that's not good for collectors. It's not good for the hobby, but it's good for the manufacturers. It's not good for you. It's not good for the people who actually buy cards and who like cards. And it's certainly not good for anybody who wants to make money with cards. So again, the sports card investor likes to talk about making money. He doesn't make money. He doesn't make anybody that watches him any money. You've lost all your money if you followed his advice. So clearly he's not that good of a sports card investor. He might be a good investor on Wall Street, but he's not a good sports card investor because he's lost a ton of money. In fact, I've done a video about that he lost, this is going back about a year, he lost about $1 million worth of value. It may be even more. And if you guys follow the SCI index, please put a comment down below. I want to talk to you on this channel because I want to hear your analysis of the SCI index and how bad that portfolio has done over the last year, so all 2024, because I guarantee it's probably even worse than it was the last time I checked it out. Anyway, here's the point. What Ty was trying to say, and we're going to get to a little clip of it right here, but what Ty was trying to say is that if you buy wax and you buy collections and you buy big bulk deals, that it's going to take a ton of time to actually get the money back out of it.
I don't want this stuff on the floor. I don't want the boxes. I don't want the tubs. Not because I don't want to go through it, but you go in cycles, right? You look at what you've been getting recently, what you can get, the market, and that type of stuff is just not valuable to me. I know I will not get to it. So what I want is that box of the good stuff. I want to negotiate on that. So I'm going to see if we can get to a point where I can take that box today and walk away and be done with it.
That is full honesty from Ty in Chasing Cardboard. And I want to say thank you to Ty for finally being 100% honest with everyone. This is a huge problem. I talk to people all the time on Reddit, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X about sports cards, and a lot of you have sports card collections that you're wondering, how much is this worth? In fact, this is the most common question asked on Reddit. How much is this worth? How much is my collection worth? I just inherited 100,000 sports cards. Now what do I do? And a lot of you are out there going, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And so what I thought I would do is just kind of give some insight as to if you have a ton of cards. So here's a whole bunch of Wade Boggs rookie cards. Okay, they're worth money, sure. They have value, sure. But now what? So who's going to buy all of these? And this is the problem that Ty is now starting to talk about, not just realize. I think he realized this 6 months ago. I think he's now starting to talk about it, which is great for the hobby because he should be talking about it. The only way that you can sell all of these cards, the way that I sold 8 million cards over the last 10 years, again, 8 million cards over the last 10 years, Ty has sold 60,000 items on eBay. Again, awesome, amazing. I've never sold that much on eBay, nor do I ever want to. But I've sold 8 million cards. I'm still way ahead of where Ty is in terms of selling. Now, again, I've been in this hobby since the 80s. Ty got into the hobby in 2019. So we're not really comparing apples to apples at this point. I have way more experience than Ty does. But that doesn't mean that I know everything. And hopefully, all of you are hearing me say that. I don't know everything. In fact, the truth is no one knows everything. No one knows everything, which means we should all be listening to each other. I listen to my subscribers. I listen to my viewers. I listen. I read your comments. I hear them. And I want you to keep giving your input. I don't want you to just say like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't help anyone. If you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, then just say what you think is wrong and where you are coming from. That's a helpful comment. And together we can help the hobby. There is no such thing as a gatekeeper. I know that the great curator and his massive ego wanted to, like, we need to keep the hobby safe. There's no way to keep the hobby safe. Here's the real. There have been scammers in the hobby since the minute that I got into it back in the 80s. In fact, one of the biggest scammers in the hobby used to live around the corner from me. There was no way that I could ever stop him from doing what he was doing. There was no way for me to stop him. All I could do was be honest myself. And hopefully people knew, okay, you know what? If I go to Doc, he's honest. If I go to Doc, I'm going to get the fairest deal, or at least I'm going to get the information for me to make a decision. Should I buy this or should I not? I can't tell you what to buy because I don't know what you want. But if you do ask a question and say, do I think this card is worth X amount of dollars, I can tell you yes or no based on what the market is saying. I can give you real answers for real questions, but I can't tell you what you should buy. And hopefully everybody understands that. You get a different perspective here than you do at Sports Card Investor. You get a different perspective here than you do at Sports Card Radio. Their show is much different, than this show. Hopefully everybody realizes that. I think it's pretty obvious. But anyway, my point being with what Ty and Chasing Cardboard just put out, again, you really should watch the entire episode, is that the hobby isn't easy. If you want to buy collections, absolutely go and do it, but you're probably overpaying for those collections. And I know for people who collect cards, that's not what you want to hear. But that's kind of the point, is I want you to hear it so that you stop overpaying for cards and then hoping, as Ty said at the very beginning of this show, you can't buy on hope. So stop hoping you'll get the money back. If you are a parent, most of my audience are people from the age of 30 to 55. So most of you are parents. The whole fun of the hobby is to do it with your kids at this point. Yes, you're going to have your own personal enjoyment, but do it with your children. This is a great experience with them. It's healthy, it's positive, it fosters communication, and it will also teach your kids about the value of a dollar bill, which they're not going to get in school. We talk a lot about, in my outside career, I work with schools. We talk a lot about the fact that there's no financial literacy in schools. Well, guess what? Sports cards can teach your kids financial literacy, but only if you teach them. You saw Ty doing these negotiations with this guy over in, I think they were in Missouri. And he was trying to say, well, I think the whole store is worth $20,000 resale value, okay? And Ty is going, I don't want all of this stuff. Like, it's nice, it's cool, but I'm not going to be able to sell all of this stuff because I don't have the time. I already have so much inventory. Again, Ty sold 60,000 items. Do you know how many pieces of, how many cards he has on eBay right now? He probably has another 40,000 cards listed on eBay. So it's going to take how long to list all of that stuff, and then how much longer to sell it. That's what everybody needs to start understanding, is how long it takes to sell is the problem. So that's why I put lots together. That's why in order to move 8 million cards, I couldn't sell them individually. What you guys need to understand is if you have bigger collections, that means 10,000 cards or more, bigger collections, that you're going to have to start thinking about selling them off in lots. Yes, keep the valuable cards, the singles, keep them separate, but start putting together lots where you can just get as much value as you can. So I sold 1,000 baseballs in one lot. 1,000 baseballs. Now, yes, I could have sold them off individually, but that would have taken forever. And that would have been a lot of time that I didn't want to spend. Time is money. Hopefully you start understanding that. I don't want you to go buy wax with the hope that you're going to get some big hit. You're not going to get that hit. Yes, you might get lucky, but is that really what you want to do with your money? Do you really want to waste your money on some hope that you might get this big card? You're better off just targeting the cards that you want. Stop buying the wax. Stop buying into the hype that the manufacturers are doing. Fanatics is going to try to manipulate you into basically buying their marketing. All of these people want to do bounties on these nonsense cards. That's great. Let them waste their money. Now, yes, I know you want to get in on it because you want to get that card so you can get that money. I get it. I understand. Times are tough. People are having trouble making ends meet, but this is not the way to make money like that. This is not the way to get rich. Yes, you can make money, but this is a grind. Hopefully you understand that. Hopefully making money in sports cards is about running a business. That means you need to be tight. You need to be serious. You need to understand your margins. You need to buy cards at one price and be able to sell them at a margin. If you don't do that, you're not going to make money. In the episode, which is why I thought it was such a great episode, is the guy was actually explaining that all of the stuff, even though it's worth $20,000, it's all profit to him at this point because he's already made his money back on everything he bought because he sold the stuff he could sell at a price, at a margin that made his money back. So all of this, even though it's worth $20,000, isn't really worth $20,000 to him anymore. He needs to get as much money as he can. So one, he doesn't have this hoard inventory, which is really what he was talking about. His wife was very upset that he has too many cards. And a lot of you are in the same position. When I was at the Arizona State Card Show 2 weeks ago, I talked to a lot of young couples, again, in their 20s and early 30s. And I could tell, yes, the guy, the husband, the boyfriend, they were gung-ho about sports cards. But their girlfriend or their wife were like, oh, do you really need to buy more? I mean, you realize how many cards you have back at home. And the guy's just completely oblivious to reality. They're just in buying mode. And I get it. That's the dopamine hit. You want to buy, 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 buy. Do not do that. Take a deep breath. I don't know exactly how to help people in this hobby in a better way, but just to take a deep breath. Literally, let's take 1 second to stop. Okay? Breathe. Do not buy cards this week. Do yourself a favor. Cut the addiction dopamine hit. Don't buy cards this week. eBay has created an addiction cycle for you. It's easy to get sucked into it. I don't want you to get sucked in anymore. Stop buying cards. I know that doesn't mean you're out of the hobby. That doesn't mean that you're stopped collecting. Stop buying the cards. Spend a week with the cards you have. Yeah, I know. Go back to the cards you have and start going through your cards. The reason that I want people to make lists is because it forces you to actually take an inventory. It forces you to look at the amount of cards you have, and if you feel overwhelmed with the amount of cards you have a hoard. That's how you know that you have a hoard. When you look at the cards that you have bought and you go, oh my God, I got way too many, you have a hoard. That means the next thing you should do is start selling off your cards. And that's when you start to realize, when the minute you go, I need to sell my stuff, that's when you realize my cards are not worth what I thought they were. Or I can't get all of that money back. I bought all of these cards over the last couple years. I did not pay a lot for these cards, and they have gone up in value. Again, we're not talking about big dollar amounts. We're talking about little dollar amounts. That's what I want you to understand, is that maybe this entire pack, okay? Maybe this entire pack, I'm just going to count them up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's say they're all worth $5 each. So that's $60 in this pack, okay? Well, let's say that's what it was worth, okay? They're not worth that anymore. They're worth a little bit more right now. But let's say that it was worth $60 a couple years ago. So let's say I bought all of these for $30. What could I sell them for today? I probably could get $50, $60, maybe $70 for it. Now, that's not a lot of money. Here's the reason that I bought these cards, is because I kept one. And that's my point, is that I bought them in lots because I wanted to keep one. And if I could sell the rest and not spend any money, then I'm doing well in the hobby. And that's my point, is I wanted to keep one of these Kobe's. I wanted to keep one. I wanted to keep one Alex Morgan. So I bought a bunch, again, at a lower price because the person was selling multiples. So they were like, okay, if it's multiples, I'll lower the price for each because I'm selling more stuff. And that's my point. It's harder to sell one card at a time. That's the equation that you have to get. If you're dealing with slabs and you're dealing with modern cards, then you only are going to be able to sell the hottest players. You're going to have a harder time selling the players that are not hot. That's why we call it now the junk slab era. It's not because the cards themselves are in slabs. PSA is doing 1 million slabs a month. They're putting 1 million new cards into slabs per month. That's the junk slab era. So the number of cards in slabs has gone up exponentially over the last 5 years. And that's what you need to understand, which means that it's going to put price pressure on all the slabs, which is probably why, at least right now, everybody is hyped up on these, numbered cards and these 1-of-1s, because again, it's manufacturer rarity. So yes, it's a pop count of 1. It can only be a pop count of 1 because that's the only one that they put 1-of-1 on. But is it really a rare card? Now, there's a difference between a 1-of-1 that is a, let's say a rookie patch auto, or even just a patch auto card. If it's a 1-of-1 of a player and it's a patch auto card, yes, that's going to be worth more money. And I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm not being a Debbie Downer. I'm not trying to say that the hobby is wrong. I think that's healthy. But having a game-used patch along with an autograph on a card that's limited is a good thing for the hobby. The problem is that can't be the only thing the hobby is about. Maybe you only have one of those in your collection. Maybe. And if you do, that's the crown jewel of your PC. I get it. Totally get it. And if you're all wondering, you're like, well, but how am I ever going to do that when these cards are going for $10, $50, $100,000 each? I'm not going to spend that kind of money on these cards. So how do I get into those cards if I'm not going to put out that kind of money? I have to do a break. And I get what you're saying is that here's the issue. If you only have a limited budget, it's probably not the best idea to spend your hard-earned money on those lottery tickets because you're not going to win. Put your money into a PC that you can enjoy rather than just wasting your money on stuff that's not going to materialize. And that's the point of this show. That's what I want you to keep getting week after week. Put your questions down. Let's get to our sports update this week, and then we're going to do the card of the week. And then at the end, we're going to do the viewer comments. I am so excited for this next segment. I've been trying to figure out a way to get sports into this weekly show. Yes, the EDI Sports Show, I want to be about sports and sports cards. This is the sports update. We got 3 stories today. First one, as you can see, this is going to be Mike Tyson, NBA ratings, and then the NFL playoff picture. So let's get into the first one. Paul defeated Mike Tyson in a unanimous decision in a highly anticipated fight. That's according to CNN Sports. That was the story. If you watched the fight on Netflix, it was anticlimactic to say the least, but here's my take on it. One, I think it was a really good idea for Mike Tyson to get in the ring because his massive ego just did not know that he was 58 years old. And I kind of get it. As you get older, your brain does not recognize that your body is not what it used to be. Like, you think you can do more than you can, and you really can't. And I think for the first time, Mike Tyson came face to face with that realization of, I'm not a young man anymore. I don't know if he fully got there because Mike Tyson isn't the brightest bulb in the bunch. But I think he realized that, you can't fight real boxers. Jake Paul is not a real boxer. And I don't know if that made any sense to everyone else, is that Jake Paul he's not a boxer. He can fight, absolutely. He hung in there with Mike Tyson. But the first round was really the most dangerous thing for Jake Paul, because if he actually took one major hit from Mike Tyson straight to his face, he would have not only been knocked out, but he probably would not remember his own name. And I think that's sort of the interesting piece about the Tyson-Paul fight, is that Mike Tyson is in great shape for a 58-year-old. In fact, you don't want to get into a street fight with him because he will knock you out within 3 minutes. The problem is if you can get Mike Tyson to run around longer than 3 minutes, like in the second and third and the fourth round of that fight, it was over. Like, he couldn't move. He couldn't dance around. He couldn't really do anything. And Jake Paul is just not a boxer, so he didn't know what to do. He didn't really throw any knockout punches. He didn't go to the body. He didn't do anything that a real boxer would have done. Again, who knows if this is what Jake Paul wants to do with his life. But if he does, he's got a lot to learn. All right, anyway, let's get to the next story, which is all about the NBA horrible ratings. And I don't know if you know that because no one's watching the NBA. This is from Athlon Sports. Adam Silver knows why NBA ratings have struggled this season. Well, it's good that Adam Silver knows, but apparently he doesn't care because the NBA is doing absolutely nothing to attract new audience members. They're doing nothing to get new fans. In fact, I think the WNBA has finally surpassed the NBA in terms of relevance. Yes, more people care about Caitlin Clark than they do about the NBA, and that is a real problem for the men's game. Maybe it's just desserts. Maybe they're getting exactly what they deserve. Who knows? But I'll just put it this way. No one cares about the NBA anymore. I don't know what else to say. More people watch Major League Baseball, as clearly the ratings showed from the playoffs. More people obviously watch the NFL, and maybe hockey is now the third sport in the United States. Maybe. So we'll see how that goes. And then the last story in this segment is going to be all about NFL playoff picture. And so this is from the NFL. Postseason possibilities entering the week 12 of 2024. So here is the AFC outlook, so you can see. So number one is Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, they took their first loss this last week. Second is Buffalo Bills. They're at 9-2. Pittsburgh Steelers at 8-2. Houston Texans at 7-4, LA Chargers at 7-3, Baltimore Ravens at 7-4, and the Denver Broncos, yes, at 6-5, looking good in the playoff picture. They just have to keep winning. And at this point in the season, it's about winning the rest of your games. The only team that really doesn't need to worry are the top two teams. So I would say the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs are okay because they already have 9 wins. So getting to 10, you're going to be in the playoffs. Even if they lose the rest of their games, they just need to win one more. Other than that, everybody else still needs to keep winning. Now, let's go over to the NFC. Detroit Lions head and shoulders above everyone else in the NFC. The Eagles coming right after them at 8-2. Minnesota Vikings surprisingly at 8-2. And I say surprisingly because they changed quarterbacks. And when you change quarterbacks, that is a huge deal. But clearly the Minnesota Vikings are well coached, well played. They're a good team. Then you have the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. So they're at 7-3. The Washington Commanders coming out of nowhere, but the NFC East is the worst division ever. But you got 2 teams there. You got the Eagles at 8-2, Washington Commanders at 7-4. And then nobody expected the Arizona Cardinals to be 6-4 at this point in the season. But guess what? Kyler Murray has really pulled a rabbit out of the hat. And they're winning without even Marvin Harrison Jr. doing anything in his rookie season. Again, he's a rookie. I want to make this clear. In Jerry Rice's rookie season was not the best. Not the best. Yet he's a Hall of Famer. So give a kid some a break. He'll figure it out. And then in 7th, you've got the Atlanta Falcons at 6-5. Again, these 2 teams at the bottom, so Cardinals and Falcons, anything can happen. Like any given Sunday, again, you need to win out your games at this point. They are on the bubble. And so by next week, we'll see what the standings kind of look like. So anyway, that's the sports segment for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Now let's get to the card of the week. This week's card of the week is the Eric Dickerson 1984 rookie card. Eric Dickerson played 11 seasons with the LA Rams, Indianapolis Colts, Oakland Raiders, and Atlanta Falcons from 1983 to 1993. The Hall of Famer was a 6-time Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year, and rushed for 2,105 yards in 1984. It is time for the viewer comments, my favorite part of the show, and this week's comments are just as good as they normally are. We're going to get right into it. So I've got 3 comments. These are real good ones. So here we go. This one's first from Ninja Matt. All right. So this is what he says. These missing grails are not what is driving modern wax pricing. Not sure how you even connected these dots. All right. We're going to get to it. Let me keep reading. Modern wax is being hyperinflated because it keeps being purchased. It started with the COVID boom while the rest of the market has self-corrected. We'll get to self-correcting in a second as well. The card manufacturers saw no reason for them to do that as well. That is very true, so I do agree with that. Why would they, if their sales continue to improve regardless? Their sale numbers holding steady or improving is largely driven by the huge influx of breakers buying up not only all the hobby product, but they also clean out all the retail locations of anything that touches the shelf, with the local card shop swiping up anything left. Both parties double plus the retail price tags, and they turn around and gouge their customers. Collectors are getting the shaft from all sides. They're on the war between Fanatics and Panini, and our position as collectors is just getting absolutely abused on entry level and every level from about all angles. All right, so here's my comment. So first of all, you're correct, Ninja, in the one thing that you said, which is yes, the product is being bought by breakers as well as other people that are kind of profiting or gouging off of the gambling. Here's what you need to understand. And again, I'm not advocating for this. I'm not saying I want you to do this. I'm just saying this is what's happening. So you have to, as a collector, decide what do you want to do. The problem is too many people are addicted to gambling. That's the problem. So the gambling is what's driving these prices up. And the gambling are the cards that I just talked about last week. Those 12 cards is the reason why wax prices are through the roof. Because everyone is trying to gamble on those cards. If all collectors said, I am done, and boycotted buying wax, the breakers would be out of business. The problem is that collectors can't resist the gambling addiction. They can't resist it. They want these cards. And the only way to get the cards, because their manufactured value is so outsized what the market actually would pay. No one will pay for these cards other than those people that, those companies that want to put a bounty on it. Literally, they're driving up the wax prices. But once those people buy it, no one else is buying these cards. Like, these cards are not going to be sold and resold there's no market for these cards. I don't know if that is making any sense to people who are watching this. There is no actual market for these cards. Yes, there's a buyer for them, but there's no market. A market means that you could resell it. And then when you buy it, you could resell it again. That's the real estate market, the stock market, the bond market. Any market means that there's multiple buyers there waiting to buy. There's no one waiting to buy these cards at these levels. No one. And that's what you need to understand. There's one person who wants to pay $100,000 for these nonsense cards. There's one person that'll put down $1 million for these nonsense cards. One person. One person is a fool. Multiple people, like hundreds or thousands or even 10,000 people, is a market. There's no market for these cards. It's a gambling addiction. So you're correct And that's why yes, the manufacturers are charging what they can charge because they're selling out, but they're not selling out to collectors. They're selling out to breakers. They're selling out to other people that are trying to take advantage of the situation. That's not collectors buying the boxes. And that's what I'm trying to say is that the hobby has shifted away from collectors. So the only way for collectors to deal with this is to literally boycott buying wax. Stop buying wax. Don't buy wax. Don't buy into brakes. You're getting ripped off. And I know that because I bought into 2 brakes to see what it was. I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and I overspent. Actually, I think I did 3 brakes because I did 2 hockey and 1 baseball, and I overpaid on the hockey one. I overpaid on the hockey one. I just did. I didn't pay on the 2 baseball brakes. I paid $20 on 1 brake and I paid $15 on another brake, and I broke even. That's it. I broke even and I paid $20. So you're telling me that if you pay more than $20, you're going to break even? You're not. You're going to lose money. Like that literally is like $15, I think, is your limit on a brake. If I'm being 100% transparent and honest with you folks, if you want to go on a brake, you shouldn't pay more than $15 for a team. Now, I also was doing multiple boxes. Like one brake was 6 boxes. Another brake was a full case. A full case. So I was like, yeah, for a full case, I'll spend $20. For 6 boxes, I'll spend $15. I did a whole case again for the New York Rangers, and again, it was my first break, and I was like everybody else. I made a huge mistake. I paid way too much for my break. I paid $60 for my break. I did not break even. I got about $25 worth of cards. I probably could have just bought those cards. In fact, I probably could have bought those cards and then I had money left over. I could have bought cards that I actually wanted that I didn't get in a break. And that's my point, is you're spending too much. I got $25. So again, the $15, $20 limit is really the honest truth. Like that's your limit on brakes. If it goes beyond that, like if you're doing auctions on brakes on eBay, just put $15 as your max. And that's it. If it goes beyond 15, you're out, so that you don't lose the money. If you like doing brakes, I honestly, $15 is the limit. And once the breakers start losing money, they'll stop doing it. Like they won't buy certain product. And that's what's happening at the retail outlets, is they can't sell certain product anymore. Like they're just not buying everything. And so anyway, I want to thank you for that comment. It was really good. Hopefully that makes more sense. Here's the next one. Also, really good comment from Cape Cod Collector. This is, I enjoyed the video. You spoke about a number of things I personally agree with. I did indeed believe in Ohtani. It's good because obviously he's probably the best baseball player right now. And when he got injured, I was able to buy 2 very low Bowman Chrome Refractor RC card auto and an RPA for $500 each. That's a pretty decent price. And they are both valued sold in excess of $35K. Well, hold on a second. Those are graded. Did you buy a graded RPA and a rookie auto? Like, because if you have a PSA 10 on both of those, then yes, and you should sell them right now. I know you're like, no, I want to wait. I want to get more multiple. No. This is the multiple. This is it. This is the time to sell. Sell them now. Get your money. Put that in the bank. Literally, that's your seed money now for the rest of your life. You will never have to sell another card ever. You can use that money now to collect for the rest of your life. Just sell those. Honestly, sell them. There's no point in holding on to them. Go buy all the other cards you want. Literally, go buy you did everything that everybody dreams about. Sell them. If you can get $35,000, sell it now. Telling you, sell it now. All right. It's all about timing and buying when others are selling. That is very true. As Buffett has said, you make your money when you buy more than when you sell. Yes, Warren Buffett has said that, but that's not the best advice from Warren Buffett. Here's the best advice from Warren Buffett. Only buy what you know. Don't buy what you don't know. So if you know vintage, only buy vintage. If you know modern, only buy modern. If you only know baseball, only buy baseball. Do not buy stuff you don't understand. That's the lesson that Warren Buffett wants to teach people. He does not buy tech companies. Why? He doesn't understand them. He buys things he understands. That's why he buys insurance companies. That's why he buys railroads. That's why he buys manufacturing companies. He understands things that have mechanical aspects. He understands things that are person to person. He doesn't understand tech. He's never bought Tesla. He's never bought any tech companies. And if you don't understand what a company does, and if you don't understand the product, do not buy it. Do not speculate with your money. And that's Warren Buffett's big lesson. Let's get to the last comment. This is also, again, guys, keep putting in your comments. These are great. I love listening to them. Let's get to it. Here we go. We got from Salty Creel Fishing, and we had a comment from him like a couple weeks ago. So here we go. Doc, you delivered again. I have a question. I would like to know if you had a 1983 Topps and a 1986 Donruss Complete baseball set, would it be best to keep them as they are intact or break the set up, keeping the rookie cards, and if worth of grading them, do that and add to the PC? I'm certain you know the Hall of Famers in those two sets, Boggs, Gwynn, Sandberg, McGriff, and Canseco, to name them in advance. Yes, I do. I did this, I think, earlier. I can't even remember. I did video, and then I edited it. I don't know if it's on the editing floor or not, so I'm going to show it now. So here's a whole bunch of 83 Wade Boggs. I have a whole bunch. Here's my, I don't know if it's a recommendation. Here's my suggestion, because you have to do what you want to keep, you want to collect. Like, I don't know if you're a set collector. If you're a set collector, keep the set intact. I am not a set collector, but I am going to keep certain sets in my PC. So this is 82 Topps, this is 81 Topps, and this is a 76 starter set, okay? So those are the three that I'm trying to move. And the reason that I'm moving them is because why do I need these sets? Like, why do I need them? They're bulk. I like keeping certain sets because, one, I either already have the set and it's like I'm just deciding, do I want to keep it or do I want to get rid of it? And then I'm going to look at, okay, should I buy this set or not? In some cases, especially with the like more modern sets, they're cheap. And so absolutely buy the set to collect, and then you don't have to buy the singles. It's all in one box. It is what it is, and that's it. Should you grade the cards in the set? Probably not. I don't know why you would spend extra money to do that. There's no point. Keep what you want. Get rid of what you don't want. If you're trying to consolidate for space reasons, yeah, pull out the cards that you like and just, sell the whole rest of the set for, pennies on the dollar, because it's not worth that much. It doesn't matter, but it also doesn't matter. Why do you keep it? I'm thinking that I'm going to have all the top sets from basically 70 through 79. That's what I think. I'm going to just collect the 70s. I don't know why I thought that. I have most of them. The only ones that I don't have the 70 set, and I don't have the 71 and 72 set. Those are the only ones I'm missing. I have 73, 74, 75, all the way through 79. So I was kind of like, well, if those, I have them all. I hope that helps. I don't know. Here's the big picture issue, is that your PC should be for love of the cards, like appreciation of the cards. Don't worry what they're worth. I think everybody's getting hung up on value too much. You only need to worry about value if you're going to sell it. If you're not going to sell it, just keep what you like. So when you're looking at these sets, should I break it up or should I not break it up? Well, think about it. Do you want the whole set or do you just want those players? If you just want those players, pull them out and then just get rid of the rest of the cards. It doesn't matter what you get for the rest of the cards, because how much did you pay for it originally? If you got it way back in, in the 80s, what'd you pay for that 83 set? Like $20? So pull out the cards that you like the most and then just get rid of the rest of them for $5 or even just give it away. It doesn't matter. I hope that you get it. It doesn't matter at that point. The prices are so low, and I know you just don't want to give anything away. I get that. You don't want to give anything away. But if you pulled out the players that you want to keep for your PC, what's the problem with just giving it away to a charity? You could bring it to your church. You could bring it to your synagogue. You could bring it to your little league. You could just give it away. Just literally just give it away. You don't need to hold on to it. It's not worth the money. Like, it's not worth $100. It's not worth $500. It's just not worth that much. It's worth $5. So don't get hung up on $5 of value. And I think that's what a lot of collectors are doing, is they're getting hung up on $5 of value. Don't make that mistake. If it's worth $5, give it away. If it's bulk, if it's a full set, again, if it's a full set, just give it away. Like, I have sold sets for $5. Yeah, I sold a lot of 80 sets for $5 at the last show that I did last year. Last November, I sold a whole bunch of 80 sets for $5 each. Again, the point is it was bulk. Why do I want to keep it? I don't. It's $5. Give me $5. You can have the set. There you go. Give me $5. Here, you can have the set. Now, obviously, the 81 is more expensive. Now, prices have come down. The last time I priced the 81 set was several years ago. That was back in the pandemic, and I even wrote it on the thing. What was it worth way back during the pandemic? It was worth $1,000. Now, what is it worth today? It's not worth that anymore. It's not worth that anymore. 81 is probably worth around, I would say probably like $250. 82, which is the Cal Ripken rookie. I don't even have a price on this one, but that one's probably worth around $300 to $400, maybe a little bit more, because again, Cal Ripken is a huge rookie in there. But it's not worth all that much. And that's my point, is you have to take into consideration, if it's not worth that much, just get rid of it. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining me again. That is this Friday. Hopefully you enjoyed this new show. I like adding in the sports. Hopefully you liked it too, but please leave me a comment. Let me know. Give me your feedback. Did you like this show? Did you not like this show? What would you like to see me do in this show? I want to hear from you. Don't forget to vote in the community poll. I have a good poll this week, which is, which one are you gambling on? Yes, so do you buy wax or do you buy breaks? Which one do you prefer? Go to the community poll, vote on it. The schedule, I was going to try to do a live on YouTube, but again, I'm not quite sure I'm technologically able to do that yet, but we're getting there. Please stay tuned next week. We'll have a big show for you. This is Doc saying, have a great weekend. There's only one show I wanna watch. HOBBYEDI Sports Show. Drop every Friday. Hot take, where's the market? Behind the scenes, from the card shows to the streets.